Welcome to Colonie TV, the governmental educational channel for the town of Colonie.
Hi, and welcome to the Senior Resources Show. My name is Cary, and I'm the Director of the Town of Colonie Senior Resources Department. Thank you for joining me today. My guest today is Eric Dahl, and he is the Program Manager for the Affordable Housing Partnership of the Capital Region. And today we're going to talk about some energy programs and programs that will not only benefit seniors, but will benefit all town residents. And I know, Eric, these are the dog days of summer, so nobody really thinks about energy and heating their home and all those programs.
I do.
I'm sure you do. But it's the time of year to start thinking about these things and not waiting until the winter months come, I suppose.
That's right. In fact, most residents are probably using quite a bit of electricity right now, running air conditioners and fans and so on. We think of insulation as being a winter issue, but there's lots to worry about with energy efficiency in the summer, too. Remember, 20% of your electric use in a typical home is lighting, appliances, and those are things that go all year long.
That's a very good point, and we'll talk a little more about those programs. But can you tell me a little bit about what is the Affordable Housing Partnership?
The Affordable Housing Partnership is a nonprofit homeownership center. We're based in Albany, but we provide services in the entire capital region, including the town of Colonie. We help people buy a house, we help people fix a house, we help people keep a house who might be having trouble. Today, I'm speaking specifically about energy efficiency programs. We help people participate in energy efficiency programs that are offered by the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority, NYSERDA. NYSERDA offers a wide range of programs, and we help people figure out which program is best for them and guide them through the process of making their home more energy efficient to save money and make their home more comfortable.
That's good to know that there's staff that will help folks kind of look at what the different programs are. I know as a social worker and not doing as much of the direct service these days, I'm confused often by these different programs and the different names and what program is going to meet my specific needs. So it's nice to know that there's somebody there that will say, this is your situation, this is the program that's best for you.
That's exactly right.
Now that's important. Why is energy efficiency so important? You talked a little bit about it, but...
Well, for individuals, it's a way to save money, and it's a way to make your home more comfortable. But it's not just about our individual needs. Think about your home. Quality improvements add value to your home. That's also good for your neighborhood. Many of these programs are designed to build jobs right here in our local communities. Decreasing reliance on foreign fuel is good public policy. It's also good for the planet. So regardless of your needs and interests, there are plenty of very good reasons to be involved in energy efficiency. For me, it was a couple of reasons. I started making my home more energy efficient as a way to save money, to lower my utility bill. Once I had made the improvements, what I discovered is I had also made my home more comfortable. My bedroom wasn't so drafty. My kitchen floor was comfortable to walk on again with bare feet in the wintertime. So the benefits will change over time depending on your circumstances and what's important to you.
Yeah, that's true. Now, what programs does NYSERDA offer for homeowners and renters? I know there's different programs.
Yeah. There are two primary programs. One is the Home Performance with Energy Star program. That is the flagship improvement program for 1 to 4 family residential homes. The owner applies. Any owner of a 1 to 4 family home in the town of Colonie could participate in this program. The building may be tenant occupied, but the owner pursues that, and we'll talk more about how that program works. The other program is Empower New York. Empower is a no-cost energy efficiency program for low-income homeowners as well as renters. So in that case, the renter may apply, or a low-income homeowner. And the income is the same as HEAP eligibility.
Okay.
So a HEAP eligible homeowner or renter could apply for Empower. That's available on apartments as well as homes, as long as the apartment building has fewer than 100 units.
Okay.
Which typically is what you find in Colonie.
And the landlord is not part of that program? It would be solely based on the renter's income?
The tenant may apply directly to participate in that program. Most of the efficiency measures do not require any involvement by the landlord at all.
Okay.
In some cases, depending on the recommended improvements, the program will ask the landlord for permission before doing anything to the building that a tenant wouldn't ordinarily be able to do themselves.
Okay. And we talked a little bit about the HEAP guidelines. They do change every year, but off the top of my head, for one person, HEAP is approximately $2,200 a month?
That's about right, yeah. All of the income guidelines, the program names, all of these details we have posted on our website, greencapitalregion.org. Greencapitalregion.org is our website that compiles the different NYSERDA programs that would be of interest locally to homeowners and renters.
For many seniors that don't have the computer, if they can pick up the phone and just make a call and somebody will walk them through the programs,
yeah,
that's important.
That's why we're here. We have an energy advisor on staff. If you call our office number, which I think will be posted at the end of the program, you can listen to the voicemail options, and one of them is to speak with our energy advisor. Her job is guiding people through all of these questions that we have about which program is best for me, can I do both, what are the exact income guidelines for my household size.
Great.
All of that, we're there to help.
Yeah, and I know from experience calling and helping seniors with different programs, your programs are very accessible and the staff is very helpful and friendly, so
Thank you.
makes it that much easier, particularly for seniors. They don't want to deal with voicemail messages so
No,
much. They just want to
no.
talk to a human being.
That's right.
So we talked a little bit about these programs, but they're available to everybody in the town of Colonie?
They are. Depending on the type of home and the more specifically the income of the occupant, there are different incentives available to help pay for work, but anyone can participate in the Home Performance with Energy Star program. The first step in the program is a comprehensive home energy assessment. This is the first look and a detailed look at your home, where it's wasting energy, and how to fix it. An expert comes in and evaluates your home specifically. This is not a one-size-fits-all program. This is tailored to meet the needs of your specific home. That home assessment is free to most New Yorkers. 92% of all New Yorkers are eligible for the free comprehensive home energy assessment, as long as your household income is less than $156,000 a year here. That's the number here for Albany County. So most people are able to take that first step for free. Now, the first step doesn't save any energy. It just tells you what's wrong with your specific home and makes very concrete recommendations on how to make the improvements and how much those improvements will cost, as well as how you may be able to pay for those improvements. Maybe now's as good a time as any to speak about paying for improvements.
Right.
There are lots of great incentives with these programs to provide grants and low-interest loans and incentives to any income level as well. The grant programs that help pay for up to half of the work, up to $5,000, are available to income-eligible households, but anyone of any income is eligible for a 10% incentive on high-efficiency energy measures that are installed through the program. So there's something for everyone in this, and in many cases, people find that they're able to make improvements with very little, if any, cash out of their own pocket between the grants or incentives. You can't use both, it's one or the other. But you may combine either one with the low-interest loans. There are two kinds of low-interest loans available through this program. One is a personal loan that's very simple and straightforward. The other is called on-bill recovery loans. An on-bill recovery loan lends you the money to make the improvements, and you pay that money back right on your utility bill. So those payments are included on your utility bill and are basically paid out of the savings that you've achieved in lowering your electric gas costs.
What happens, this is, I run into this situation quite often, when folks are in a situation where suddenly they need a furnace replacement and they haven't gone through the steps of having the assessment because now it's January and they have no heat.
Right.
How can we help not only seniors but all town residents that maybe now need a furnace and they're looking at, you know, the affordability of this big expense for them?
Right. This is not an emergency program.
Okay.
Right. This is a program that is designed to take the long view and a methodical approach to figuring out what the house needs and making the improvements. It also is not a replacement program. Okay. In other words, if I have a furnace, let's say it's a 92% efficient furnace, but it's 30 years old and it is long past its lifespan and it dies in the middle of January. They always go in the middle of the winter, right? Because that's when they're working. If I were to buy a new furnace, another 92% efficient furnace, but a brand new one, it would be using basically the same amount of energy as my old one, right? I haven't improved the energy efficiency of my home, right? So what I would encourage residents to think about is if they have an older furnace, especially one that's not as efficient as some of the newer models and maybe burns an awful lot of home heating oil, for example, which has been very expensive, as folks know, or is simply approaching the end of its lifespan, that before it breaks in the middle of winter is the time to have the comprehensive home energy assessment, see if proactive improvement of that old furnace, right? Not only replacing it before it breaks, but improving the energy efficiency of it so that you use less gas, if it's a natural gas furnace, to heat your home. You know, then you can tap into the incentives and not be scrambling at the last minute.
That makes a lot of sense. It's being more preventative and being proactive, really. You can't just wait until the emergency occurs. You need to really plan for it. I mean, and heating your home is I know, working with folks, that it costs them, you know, as much as it does for monthly groceries to keep their house warm. And it's very important. If you can't be comfortable in your own home and be warm and safe, then you know, what else is there really? Now, when we talked about wasting of energy, and that these programs kind of, by going through the first phase of it, you look at where energy could be saved. Are there other areas where seniors are wasting energy that could be, you know, addressed without having the audit and going through it?
Absolutely. Two big ones come to mind that are very easy. One is changing old incandescent light bulbs, the filament light bulbs, with compact fluorescence, or nowadays some folks are even using the LED lights, which use much less electricity. Replacing a light bulb is about the simplest thing you can do, and it helps. Every little bit does help, and it is something that you can do yourself. The other is to take common sense measures to cut back on your usage through your own habits, right? And we've all heard 100 times to turn the lights off when they're not in use, use a fan instead of that old air conditioner that's clugging away. Home Performance with Energy Star is designed to save you energy no matter what you do. If you're a person who's careful about energy use, or if you have the TV on all of the time, this is a program that's going to save either person money, because it's looking not at your own personal behavior, but at the house itself. Where does your house lose heat in the wintertime? Where does your house have holes in the walls that are letting air escape, and so on?
Good information. Now we'll talk a little bit. You just mentioned a little bit about the insulation. If your home, how do you know? How does a person know if their home obviously your home has insulation, if it's the right amount, or what steps can seniors or all town residents take as far as addressing the insulation that's currently in their home?
Knowing whether or not you have insulation is helpful, but the best thing to find out is to have the comprehensive home energy assessment done, have an expert come and look at your insulation to determine whether the levels are adequate. For example, my house is a 1940s era cape. It had insulation blown into it back in the late 70s. I knew there was some insulation in the walls, but I didn't know how much. And it wasn't until an expert performing this home assessment with an infrared camera could actually look at the walls of my house and see where insulation had settled, where it was missing, and so on. In other places, for example, my kitchen has insulation underneath it because it's over a crawl space. I knew there was lots of insulation there. I could see it in the crawl space, but the floor was icy cold in the winter. I didn't understand why. The reason was that insulation had not been installed properly. So the best way to find out whether it's there, and B, whether it's doing its job properly, is to have the comprehensive home energy assessment done by a knowledgeable expert who can figure out what should be done, if anything.
What is the time frame that we're looking at if somebody were to watch the show today and make the call to your organization? When could they look to have the first steps?
Good question. The first step is filling out a very simple one-page application and sending it in with your utility usage. So your most recent National Grid bill, if you're a National Grid customer here in Colonie, is all that you need. Once that application goes in, it's usually only 2 or 3 days before you receive a approval letter in the mail. And that approval letter includes what's called a reservation number. The reservation number is, think of it as the coupon that you give to the contractor who's going to perform the home assessment. Now, don't give it to any contractor. Do some research first, and we can help you figure out some suggestions on how to find an appropriate contractor. Not only a good one, but one who participates in the program. There are about 22 home performance contractors in the capital region who do these free or reduced cost assessments for NYSERDA. You have to choose one of them, but you want to find one that has expertise that's relevant for your home and has a good track record, and we can help you figure that out.
Okay, good.
That reservation number then is good for 90 days. So you have 90 days then to have the home assessment done. And that really depends on your availability and scheduling with the contractor. The home assessment itself takes a couple of hours, typically an hour and a half, 2.5, depending on your home. The contractor is looking at the whole house and finding all of the potential energy savings opportunities in your home. Then typically a week or 2, sometimes 3 if they're busy, you receive a report back from the contractor. Many will meet with you in person to explain their findings and make recommendations. Then whether you decide to move forward with improvements or not is entirely up to you as the homeowner.
And if the homeowner did decide to move forward and there was insulation that needed to be done and maybe some other improvements, then does your agency step back in again and help with the financing piece of it?
Absolutely. We can help with every single step along the way, and usually do. Most people have some questions when they're filling out the initial application. You might have questions about choosing a contractor. You might have questions about their recommendations. You might have questions about getting help with the financing or the grant application to get the money to help pay for these improvements. We can help with every step in that process.
This is a question. I don't know if you get this a lot, but when I talk to seniors about programs such as this, they always say to me, I need windows, I need windows.
Right.
That seems to be I don't know if it's because it's more of a cosmetic, it will enhance the looks of their homes, or what is the energy value improvements in replacing windows, or is that where a senior should be looking at improvements? Is it, where does that fit into the equation? Because that's a question I get asked every day.
Everyone sees their windows. They look right through them. They're on our minds. And I think for many people with older windows, it's not only an energy concern that they have, it's a maintenance or being able to open and close them and so on. This is not a window program. It's true that windows, energy-efficient windows, can sometimes be included in a package of improvements for your home. But remember that only 10% of your energy loss is through your windows. It is much more cost-effective to add insulation to an entire wall than it is to add one little layer of glass in a single window. That window is a very expensive improvement. This program is trying to find the most cost-effective ways of lowering your energy use.
That's good information.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's something that we hear oftentimes from folks, particularly because their homes are older and it becomes a safety issue. So they're always looking for ways to improve that. Let me see. What else do we want to cover here? Is there anything that you feel that we've missed as far as the eligibility for these programs or the access to these programs?
Well, I said it once, but I'll underscore it. This is this meaning the Home Performance with Energy Star is a program for everyone, any income, any owner of a 1 to 4 family home anywhere in the town of Colonie. We have talked about grants and special incentives to income eligible buyers, but it's important, or eligible owners, but it's important for people to understand that there is something in this program for everyone. And the more help you need, the more help is out there to make it possible.
Now, if residents are watching this show and they think of family members that don't live in the town of Colonie, that maybe have just purchased a home in another town or another part of the state, is this program a statewide program? How is this program funded?
It is. Yeah, good question. This is a program of the New York State Energy Research and Development Authority. So it is available on 1 to 4 family residential homes anywhere in New York State and using any fuel type. So if you heat with propane or oil or wood or electricity, it doesn't matter. You can use this program to make energy efficiency improvements.
Great. And I think just to touch base on the eligibility, we did discuss, the HEAP guidelines for the one program, the first program that we discussed.
The second program was the Empower New York, and Empower New York is no-cost improvements to HEAP eligible homeowners or renters. Okay, so that's a program that you can plug into directly as a renter, regardless of your landlord's interest, let's say.
Yeah.
That program focuses not on the big stuff or the whole house. They look at the whole house as a system, but it generally doesn't get involved in significant insulation or heating system replacement or anything like that. Instead, it focuses on very achievable electricity reduction measures. So lighting, refrigeration is a big one. Replacing old refrigerators is often a component of the Empower program because it's such a quick and immediate benefit to someone's electricity bill.
What do you say to the seniors that run a second refrigerator or a freezer and they're really not cooking for a family like they once did, but they've always run that freezer? I think of my mom who had it just stuffed with freezer burned ice cream.
That's right. It's not just seniors. I'm guilty too. I had a 30-year-old freezer in my basement that was half full. We didn't really need it. And when I had the home assessment done on my house and the contractor came down and looked at it, he smiled and he said, well, there's a lot of your electricity is headed out right through that one appliance. So if you don't need it, or let's say you're not sure, run a little experiment for yourself and try unplugging it for some temporary period of time. And if you can get by without it, that's a great way to reduce your electric use. National Grid, incidentally, has a second refrigerator or freezer program where they'll come and take it away and actually give you money
that's good to know.
take away a spare that you're not using and aren't going to replace. We want to lower your electricity and keep it lowered.
Now, did you see a savings in your energy bill when you took that freezer
absolutely. Now, I didn't do just the freezer. We had some air sealing done. We improved some of the ductwork in our house, which frankly hadn't occurred to me that much of our heating loss was through the outside walls because that's where all of our heating ducts were. So doing some work to reroute a duct and replace a furnace with a more efficient one. Taken as a whole, we saw immediate savings not only on the electricity side but the gas side. So my bills are quite a bit lower than they were before I had the work done. On average, most homeowners, based on research by NYSERDA, save about $700 a year on average.
That's significant.
Taken, every year, that adds
It's a big
up.
savings,
Yeah.
absolutely. With it being so expensive for folks to live today with the cost of food and the cost of energy and medications and all these things that I see seniors struggle with and all of our town residents do. It's $700 can certainly go someplace else and
That's right.
than your energy bills, that's for sure. Okay, now your website. We will post your website, but if you'd like to share a little bit of your contact information, that would be great.
Sure. So the Affordable Housing Partnership, you can contact us by telephone, area code 518-434-1730, and dial you listen to the message or speak with the receptionist who will put you in touch with our energy advisor. The website is greencapitalregion.org. greencapitalregion.org is not really its own website. That will direct you automatically to the energy section of the Affordable Housing Partnerships page. And there you can find not only the details on all of the programs we've talked about, but also the application form and the contact information. And as we said earlier, if you would rather not deal with a computer or don't have internet access, you certainly should call us at 434-1730, 434-1730.
Okay, great. And we will post the contact information
Great.
at the end of the show. But, I found it interesting as I was preparing for the show when I went on your website and learned of all the wonderful programs. I was familiar with a lot of what you did, but boy, you certainly do, touch so many different components of housing.
Many people are familiar with our programs for first-time home buyers. We have some excellent workshops, down payment assistance, and other resources specifically designed to help people purchase their first home.
Right.
But our Home Ownership Center doesn't stop there. Once you own a home, particularly with your new mortgage payment, you're looking for ways to save money. So if we can help you save money by lowering your energy costs, let's do that too.
That's great. Now, so if someone were to go through the first home ownership program, would you naturally just try to make those linkages with all the other programs?
Everyone who uses any of our programs hears about the energy efficiency, whether you own your home already or just purchased a home. In fact, many people who buy their first home are learning a lot about home ownership for the first time, and having a comprehensive home energy assessment to really take a detailed look at your energy use is a great way to get to know your home and prioritize some of the improvements that you're bound to want to make.
Right.
Incidentally, for new homeowners who may not have 12 months of utility usage yet, you can still participate in the program. You simply have to fill out a form that says, I just purchased my house and I closed last month, and that's why I only have this first utility bill. You can still participate in the program.
Well, this has been great information. I thank you so much for coming on and sharing this information with our viewers. I hope maybe you'll come back and we can cover some of your other programs at another time.
That would be fun. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate you taking the time to join me today.
You're welcome.
And thank you for joining me today, and we'll see you next time on the Senior Resources Show. Have a good day.